So there's a problem, Wing Commander Sudhakaran, and when we say that unemployable, I have to accept that anybody I'm hiring is actually a student in training for the next 1 year. And then hopefully they will have the skills to contribute to their organization. What do we do about this fundamental issue?
Good morning, Rishabh, and thank you very much for having me here. I will start with a 4-line on the budget. In corridors of rupees, dreams unfold, numbers dance, stories yet untold. In the balance of wealth and need, India's future in budget we heed. When you talk about skilling, I'll tell you, in the last 8 months, I interviewed personally more than 2,500 engineering graduates. And let me tell you, 99% of them had to be rejected. I didn't reject them. They ran away from the corridors of the interviews themselves. They excused themselves. That is the quality of education that we are entering. They're just simply not employable. The government is just talking about it. They're doing zilch on it. Add to this the fiasco that is added by the controversy of exams. I ask the government, what prevents them to put a very, very robust testing and evaluation platform? They simply don't have an answer. The problem with this government is BJP government is a disaster when it comes to perception, and the Congress government is a master at deception. It is pulling all strings and the government seems to be just helpless. We cannot set this. Our only hope is Narendra Modi. We have a good leader in place and we don't have him for perpetuity. We need to put the right actions in place. We need to take the right decisions. We cannot say that we are going to grow at 6.5 to 7%. The need for this country is to create 75 lakh jobs per year on year. If you need to do that, you need to grow upward of 8 to 9%. That is, if it is not happening organically, you need to plan for it. The government is simply not doing it. And I'm telling you, the biggest hurdles is in the power corridors themselves. I sometimes tend to believe or feel, I get this impression that a lot of these guys are compromised. I've seen a book written by one of the gentlemen, I don't want to take his name. It's titled The Snakes in the Ganges. I see a lot of snakes in the power corridors. They are pulling this government down because the policies are not consistent. The farm laws, such beautiful laws, but the government didn't have the control over the information narrative. And I've been yelling at the top of my voice, why don't you get the information narrative in place? China did this 25 years back, and 25 years hence, you still don't have the information narrative.
Okay, Wing Commander, that's strange because all you will hear from a certain quarter is that the entire media is bought. As we speak, I'm sitting in somebody's godi and not this chair. You are saying government doesn't have information narrative. Other people say government has a total control of information narrative, that we are not a democracy. We are breaking into an unconstitutional dictatorship. How can both be true?
Chor machaye shor. That's exactly what these guys are doing. The government is still scared. Today, I'll give you a very small example, Rishabh. The government announced more than 8,000 crore under the National Quantum Mission and around 1 lakh crore for advanced AI and R&D development. It is just simply not able to spend it. One of the panelists in your own TV show happened to privately converse with me, and he said, around 600 crores of budget was supposed to be allocated. You know why? Because the government doesn't know whom to give, how to give, where to go, and why to give. Consequently, you know what they do? They give it to Premier Academia, and Academia is a black hole. They cannot build technology. You know what they do? They steal papers from abroad. They make grammatical changes, and that is what they call as PhD thesis.
Okay.
Your PhDs are worth nothing. It's just crap.
Okay.
And we need to build this.
It is a problem. Wing Commander Sudhakaran into this. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, there are logics to Agniveer. You want to reduce the average age of your fighting force. You want to create a system where people are coming out after having spent 4-5 years training with the armed forces, getting a lump sum, and then continuing with their lives that contributes to a trained reserve in your country. There are many reasons to think that way as well. But at the same time, it's been difficult. Let's not kid ourselves. I can tell you that the government has registered that there is blowback. A lot of internal meetings have happened in the past 2 months after the elections.
See, it's the dance of the invisible hand that is behind this. The European Disinformation Lab just now brought out a report which said that there were invisible hands at play in the Indian elections. This Agniveer thing is exactly the repetition of what happened to the farm law. I again maintain BJP is a disaster at perception and Congress is a master at deception. The Agniveer fiasco that has happened, it has happened because BJP has not been able to put the right facts in the public domain. And whatever facts come in the domain, it has got twisted, turned, and distorted to the extent that people are confused. They don't know the difference between right and wrong. That is why I continue to maintain that unless and until you don't take hold of the information narrative, which means unless and until you don't shape the social media narrative, bring it correctly, unless and until you don't have a national truth validation framework. I have submitted this to the highest in the government last 4 years. They have not been able to take a decision. The government accused the previous regime of policy paralysis. Let me tell you, there are equal policy paralysis here also when it comes to taking very stringent. You said Modi has to go for the broke. He has to go for the broke. He has to take some strong decisions. The problem is that we all have only one person to go to. The powers are not delegated to the extent that decision making is free. And the people who have the power to make decisions, they are just simply not making it. That is point number one. Second is, we need to understand that, you are not, by saying that I will become the third largest economy in the world, you are not going to do anything great because India is destined for that place. The problem here is that you are competing with US, which is a 20 to 23 trillion economy today, and China, which is a 16 to 17 trillion. Your aim is to triple your economy from 5 trillion mark to 15 trillion. It cannot happen by simply linearly increasing the per capita income of every Indian.
Yes.
You need at least 4 to 5 trillion-dollar entities like an Apple, an Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, a Microsoft, a Baidu, a Alibaba, a Tencent.
But we hate them.
On and on and on.
No, but we hate them. So, okay. So let me